Today we're going to now create a references page. References typically is the APA model for writing references. Works cited is used for MLA. So now we're talking styles. APA uses the word references and MLA uses the words works cited. We're going to create a references page that correlates with our Samuel Clemens report. I'm going to set up my page just like I set up for my simple Unbound report. To set up my page, go to Page Layout, go to your margins, and select Normal, 1 inch all the way around. In addition, I like to take my spacing down to 0 because we want no spacing after our paragraph. Let's go back to the home ribbon, and under the paragraph group line spacing, we can now choose double. If you want to make sure that there's no extra space after the line, you could go to line spacing options and notice that it says spacing after 0 and double. All right, we are ready to begin. Oops, let's remember to change our font. Remember that the English teachers like Times New Roman 12-point font. Times New Roman 12-point font. When we type references will be starting at the 1 inch mark. Now, unlike the title page and unlike the book, APA wants references to be centered with initial caps. So we're going to type references, and we are not going to bold it. So there's my references. Everything is now double spaced. This is also true when we do works cited. So when I hit the Enter key, notice that I have one blank line between where my cursor is located and my title. Let's left align, go back to the left, and we're going to start typing our references. So I'm on page 71 in our textbook. We always start with the author's last name. By the way, all reference notations are in alphabetical order by author's last name. So this is Stephen Railton. We put a period and a space. Remember, we are not using 2 spaces after a period. Now we have a hypertext link. So make sure that you type it correctly. Notice that if we look at our hypertext link, we can tell where this is pointing to. So this is pointing to a university in Virginia. We see EDU. It's the library. See the lib? Then he has a folder with his last name on it. And then we see CS, that's Sam Clemens, underline, AS, as, underline, MT, that's Mark Twain. And then we're going to type the name of the web page, which is yourmt13.html, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now, notice how that word wrapped the entire line to the second line. We don't want that, but we're going to fix that in a second. Let's just hit the space key and now type the date of this, which is July 21st, 2003. All right, now how do we break up this long URL? Whenever you want to break up a URL, you have to look for your slashes because these slashes indicate the folder name. So we could put a space after this slash to break up this line, after this slash, or after this slash. Remember, we want to fill up our line here. So I'm going to put my cursor right before the U in your MT, the name of the file. It has to go by a slash because that's where we break down our folders, and hit the space bar. Ta-da! Notice how it moved, and now it's on 2 lines. So that's a good thing. The other thing we need to know is we want to create a hanging indent. A hanging indent means that your second line is indented as your first line is at your left margin. Again, this is called a hanging indent. If you look in the book on page 71, you will see a hanging indent. To create the hanging indent, make sure your rulers are visible. There is a keyboard shortcut. You could use Control and T. It will automatically indent your line. Or, if you wanted to, you could manually move the hanging indent indicator over a 1/2 inch. So let me undo this and show you the next way to do it. I can simply drag this in to a 1/2 inch. You've created a hanging indent. So, one more time, Control T, quick way to make a hanging indent, or simply drag your bottom middle part that says hanging indent over a 1/2 inch. Either way, it works. Notice they're all double spaced. Hit the Enter key and let's use the next citation. This happens to be written by the same guy. And this is Sam, whoops, let's get that right. Again, we have a long URL. HTTP stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's an e-text at the library at Virginia, a university in Virginia, probably University of Virginia, /, that's the end of a folder. Now we're going into the Railton folder, /, now we're going into the same SC_AS_MT. So he has a Sam Clemens as Mark Twain folder. And then HTML, which is the actual page. Hit the space bar, and we have July 21, 2003. All right, again, we want to bring a portion of this URL up to that blank space up here. So I'm going to put my cursor after a / because that indicates a folder, and just hit the space bar. Ta-da! You have now created a works cited page in the APA style. Please don't forget to put your name, and I would suggest putting it in the footer. This is saved as a separate document. Good job!